This is a really special day, something we've been working on for months. A lot of people ask me, why hasn't there been a startup incubator built on a farm before? It's a pretty basic idea. I said, well, it's because it's really hard. And it's hard because of all the partnerships that are required. And you can see a lot of how that's manifested here today. So being a little bit unscripted, but these are how much work and kind of just faith and belief, especially for somebody who doesn't come from ag, to be able to kind of pull this together. Jackie, you're actually over here. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, you got in trouble. Want to welcome everybody to Sterling Ranch. We like to say this is Salinas' most visible intersection. My name is Danny Bernstein, and I am the CEO of the Reservoir. I want to first start off by thanking all the growers who are here today, folks who are tending farms in and around Salinas. This is really built for you all, really as the end product, as the end user of what we're building. Our mission at the Reservoir is really focused on the pressures that are facing specialty crop production in California and the United States. And I'll speak to a few of these. Labor-related expenses are absolutely massive and are becoming more and more significant. There's a Cal Poly study that looks at the exponential increase in regulatory costs related to lettuce production. These are big numbers that are creating real challenges. And the other piece of it is, if you think about how reliant we are on resources, water being a critical one, we don't have major water-related projects in California anymore. And so there are just significant headwinds facing something that is so critical to us. California specialty crops is over a $50 billion industry. And so we created a company to address these challenges, and that's the Reservoir. We think of this like a new innovation system, a new approach. And I'll get into our approach. I'll get into what we're doing and what we're thinking about. We are really focused on helping the startups, and we'll get into why that is. And our end goal and what we're really focused on is sustaining agriculture, but also the rural economies around us. We're in Monterey County. This is a rural county, one of 50+ rural counties in California. And this is a county that's heavily reliant on agriculture. It's a $5 billion economy, but we can't take it for granted. There's actually no certainty that within even 1 or 2 generations, we will continue to have a $5 billion ag economy in Monterey County because of some of the stats that I just shared with you. The way that we view it, the way the Reservoir views it, is that the future of specialty crops is dependent on technology. Western growers put together a research study and said that less than 5% or even less than 2% of specialty crop production is automated, meaning there are still significant dependencies on labor. And inherently, there's nothing wrong with that. But the challenge is that coming across labor now is just more challenging than it's ever been. 40% of specialty crop production budgets are labor related. We know that we have significant federal headwinds around labor. There is a very impactful New York Times editorial over the weekend written by Speaker Rivas about how we have wilted lettuce and we have unpicked strawberries because of a lack of labor. And this is about kind of how ag tech will integrate with that labor in the future. And a lot of what we've done with the Reservoir, with our partnerships with Hartnell College, which we'll talk about, are really saying, how is the future of our population, the future of our workforce, really integrating with technology? And the way that we think about the role of tech here is that there's an urgency about it. It really needs to arrive in the next 5 to 7 years to even matter, to even make a dent. So the question that we ask ourselves at the Reservoir, the fundamental question we ask ourselves is, how can we help the startups? How can we help the innovators deliver more? And the challenge, and this is something that we've studied, is that startups, by and large, have not met the moment. We know that the tech is improving. We're living in this era where AI has changed our lives. It's changed how we work. It's changed how we write. So the technology that's coming into agriculture should and can be better than it's ever been. So about this time last year, a group of us began working on this problem. We worked on it with Western growers, actually. I know we have Walt and Ben here from Western growers. We began to ask ourselves, why is it that specialty crop ag tech struggles to deliver? And there are all these stories that you hear, and some of you guys have heard some of the stories I've shared. The company that is based in the Bay Area, farming carrots, but their test facility is in Bakersfield. And I asked them, well, then how often are you testing? And they say to me, oh, we're testing a couple times a year. And so I actually went to a map of California, and I looked up, I'm a California kid, but I looked up how far is the Bay Area from Bakersfield. And I realized that you could actually fit the state of West Virginia in between the Bay Area and Bakersfield. And so that's just one example, testing constraints. I've spoken to startups that have raised venture capital money, and it might take them 6, 9, 12 months to actually get on a farm to test. So meanwhile, they've raised money, and they're burning down their capital in the bank, but they don't actually have a place to test. The second thing that we saw is that we felt like startups weren't living it. They weren't immersing themselves in the agricultural communities. So I would speak to a startup about this, and I would say, so where are you based? They say, Pasadena. I'm like, okay, interesting. Where are you testing? They're like, Santa Maria. I'm like, okay, so how much time are you spending in Santa Maria? When I need to test. Great. So are you getting to know the grower? Are you getting to know their day-to-day? Are you spending time with them in harvest in these different scenarios? Yes, but only a couple times a year. So we started to hear this more and more, which was that startups were expecting to be successful, but were really existing kind of at arm's length from the rural communities that they were serving. Another thing that we noticed is that if you looked at a map of California and you put a pin into where all the different startups are, you would realize pretty quickly that there were no dense hubs. So by contrast, Berkeley is a little town, and they have over 20 startup accelerators in Berkeley alone. But there aren't dense ag tech hubs. There aren't walkable hubs where you can meet and greet other startups. And we think that this is an issue because it means that you're isolated from other companies. You start reinventing the wheel. You start building things that other people have already built. And we began to see this as well. And then the last one is that we started to study the incubators across California. And we try to understand, are incubators delivering the right support for startups? Are they getting them capital access? Are they getting them workforce access? Are they getting them investor access and all these different things? And the conclusion we came to, roughly speaking, is that there isn't a Y Combinator for ag tech. There isn't a flagship startup incubator, or an open one, and one that's run sort of as a community like this, that exists in the ag tech space. And so this brought us to this idea. So we started to study incubators, not just in California. We started to study them around the world. And we realized that the ag tech incubators were in office spaces. We started to visit farms. We met Randy Pura, who's here somewhere, who actually, where are you, Randy? There you are. We met Randy, and we visited his farm in Gonzales, and we learned a lot about the vision that he had created, and we spent time with Western growers. We spent time with Taylor Farms, and we really started to understand, well, what if we created a startup incubator and we really built it from the ground up to address the imperatives of agricultural technology? And we found is that there are over 7,000 startup incubators globally, but none of them combine two basic things. None of them combine a working specialty crops farm or a high-value crop farm that's farmed by professional growers, and we're going to get into that in a second. So the first ingredient, a working specialty crop farm farmed by professional growers, by name growers. Then number two is a space for the development of ag tech, deep tech, robotics, automation, precision tech, autonomy, robotics, drones, rovers, etc. R2D2s, C3POs, all those things. But combining those two things didn't exist. And so we got really inspired. And we actually pivoted the entire company around this idea. And we spent months and months working on the strategy. We formed a nonprofit around it. We formed the Reservoir nonprofit. We built a board. A lot of our board members are here today, which we really appreciate. We filled out a charter. We became tax exempt. We raised some of our first catalyst funding from the state of California, from Uplift Central Coast and others. And we also realized that for this to be sustainable long term, we also needed to build a business behind it. And we needed these things to be interconnected. And so we built what we feel like is a closed loop, a really tight loop, which is our for-profit. We call it Reservoir Co. It's a venture capital fund that invests in the best companies that come through our incubator. And we also begin to do development work with these companies, and we're going to talk more about this today. We began to kind of form the strategy and coalesce it. We began to get feedback, and one of the companies that gave us really positive feedback, which you can see has become a big part of what we're doing, is John Deere. John Deere for us is really a dream partner. And if you think about building an ag tech startup incubator from the ground up, having a partner like John Deere, really a heritage company, is really special. Someone asked me the other day, well, why partner with a corporate entity when you're trying to build a startup incubator? And I thought about the question. I said, well, you know, if you were building a startup incubator for apps, for mobile apps, and you had an opportunity to work with Apple, would you do it? And they're like, of course we would. I'm like, well, that's basically what this opportunity is that we get to work with the Apple of agriculture, which is John Deere. And so they're working with us on the farm here. They're contributing to what we're doing here in a really meaningful way. And they're also working with us on R&D. They're going to be working with us to connect John Deere technology with these startups so they don't have to reinvent the wheel. We're lucky to have a presence from John Deere today. We have hardware, of course, outside, which is incredible. We also have representation from John Deere corporate leadership. So I want to invite my friend, Sundberg, up to say a few words.
Thank you. All right, what a day. Big, big day. So thank you, Danny, for having us here today. Not very often that we get to be in front of and interacting with so many growers in Salinas. And any day that I'm here is going to be a good day. And we're going to be here for years to come. So from John Deere's perspective, thank you to all the growers that are here. You're amazing. The work that you do, the salad bowl of the world, feeding the planet is quite amazing, and it's something to be very proud of. And everybody at John Deere is very supportive of what you do. Wanted to say a few things and some thank yous for people. So all the growers, thank you. RDO Equipment Company, bringing the tractors out here today. Our dealers and John Deere, we walk the same path. We're aligned to supporting you, the growers, and what you do every single day. For the dignitaries from the state of California, Monterey County, Mr. Mayor, thank you for the support that you've given us as we've gone along on this venture. And then I know my buddies Walt and Ben are here somewhere. Raise your hands from Western Growers Association. We wouldn't be here without y'all either. So thank you very much for what you do in supporting the business. Danny, we believe in you and your team. We brought Danny to the big house. We brought him up to Moline, Illinois, met the senior leadership team at John Deere Company, and we were sold immediately on what y'all are doing. So thank you for being and allowing us to be partnered with you. All right, my Deere crew, Greg, there in the back, Christensen, thank you for being here. Paul Raleigh on the customer support side of the business. Corey Boer with supporting high-value crops up and down the state of California. And then especially Colton Salyards. Thank you for being here. Colton's my right-hand man that's doing all the legwork that's required to do a partnership like this. It's an amazing effort, and I'm glad to see it come to fruition. And when we think about John Deere Company and what we're really trying to do in high-value crops, we're really trying to be there for you. We're planting our flag, so to speak, here in Salinas, investing in Salinas, investing in Reservoir, so that we can game change how agriculture is done going forward. You know, there's something a little bit noble about what we do. We help feed and clothe and shelter the world over the last almost 190 years now as an entity operating in support of farmers worldwide. And when we looked at Reservoir, we saw a big opportunity. We saw a way that we can impact you, your businesses, the community, the farm workers, etc., and to find a way to do this in a more meaningful way, bringing technology hopefully faster, right? Maybe fail faster, pivot faster, produce faster, bring faster results that impact this community. And that's why we're here today. And people have asked the question, why Reservoir? I'm like, why not? What an idea. Danny just went through the mission and what we're going to do together. And if we can pull this off, and I'm very confident that we can, we're going to see true impact brought to market fast. And that's really what it's all about. Fast. Do things fast. We're at a crossroads, I think, in this industry. If you look at the pressures from labor, finding labor, labor cost, regulatory impacts, if we can bring technology that helps with on the labor side, whether it's autonomy, whether it's automation, game changer. And John Deere's heavily invested in this space. So we've acquired companies like Monosim and Mazzoti, Bear Flag, Blue River. We're trying. And we've got to find a way to impact. And we've come to realize this is where it's going to be at, here in Salinas, California. So pleasure to be here to talk with you. I hope I get a chance to meet everybody here today. And then I do want to have a special call out for Salinas, because people have asked me, why Salinas? Like, why not? Right? Why not? It's a great place to be. Doing the work that you do, feeding the world, having access to the Bay Area and some of the talent and the technology that can come out of there easily, having the dirt here, having the farm here, having the growers here, having the labor force here, and having a supportive mayor here, not a bad thing. So it's super exciting to be here. I think as we look back over the last year, I think I met Danny first time up at Fiera last year. The path that we've been on has been really solid, really impactful, and I can't wait for it to kick off. So as we go ahead and transition, I think I'm going to turn it back to Danny here in a moment. I just wanted to say thank you to everybody in this tent for supporting the reservoir. It's a good cause for the world. I look at it that way. And it's going to be a really fun journey to be on with each and every one of you. And if you look at the solutions that we have, whether it's the next year, whether it's the next 2 years, seeing them in the hands of growers here in Salinas Valley is going to be an amazing opportunity to see. So thank you. I won't go much longer, but just thank you again. I think I'm going to turn it over to Danny, and then I hope to see you this afternoon and evening. So thank you.
Thank you, John. Appreciate that, and thank you so much, John Deere, for being here. This is such for me and for the Reservoir team, this is a California story. This is a Salinas story. And I want to thank a few dignitaries for being here today before I introduce the mayor. We have several members of the Board of Supervisors here. I see Glenn, I see Wendy, I see Chris. Thank you all so much for being here. You've been extremely, is Luis here as well? Oh, there he is. A little bit incognito there with the glasses. Thank you, sir, for being here. We have folks from CDFA here. We have folks from USDA here. We have members of Senator Laird's office, Speaker Rivas's office, and also from GoBiz. And from Lofgren's office. Wonderful. And so incredible to have this local support. We really appreciate it. We also have folks from Uplift Central Coast, from MBAP, so a lot of really great partners here. I see Richard from Monterey County. Salinas is a very special place for ag. It's really the county seat for one of the largest agricultural counties in the world. And it really is a magnet for innovation. When we started to talk to startups about being in Salinas, this is the slide we showed. We showed, imagine coming to a place where you're a drive from Pacific Ag Rentals, you're near RDO, you're near Driscoll's, you're down the street from Tana Mernantle, from Stout, from Plantape, from Taylor, from Western Growers. And to kind of truly appreciate it, I started to say, what Las Vegas is to gamblers, Salinas is to ag tech. it really has this opportunity to become a global destination. And I began to bond over this idea with one of the first people who actually really kind of took me under their wing here, who was Mayor Donohue, who I'll introduce formally in just a second. And this is really a lot of the seed of where ag tech was birthed, with the Forbes Ag Tech Summit, with the WG CIT Center, which we'll be in a few minutes. And it was a natural location, really, for our first reservoir farms. And we began to kind of really conceive of this idea of where we needed to be, who we needed to work with. And today, I'm excited to announce the first 6 companies that will be at Reservoir Farms. When we originally set out our goal for this time, we had built models, we built plans. We hoped that we would have 3 companies signed. That was actually our best case scenario, was we'd have 3 companies signed. And we're really excited today to announce that we have 6 initial residents that will be part of our cohort. And I want to ask them to stand up, because there are a bunch of folks here. So please, Farm Blocks, High Degree Machinery, Beagle Tech, BHF, CropMind, and lastly, Geovisual Analytics. Thank you, guys. What I think distinguishes this group of companies is that they really bought into the vision. And it wasn't necessarily they bought into a sales pitch. What they bought into was that ag tech can be a community, that it can be more effective with dense hubs where companies are working with each other, where companies are not reinventing the wheel, where they're saying, gosh, I really like what you're doing here with data, why don't we pair it with this machine? I really like what you're doing here with robotics, why don't we pair it with this level of mobility? And that opportunity to have that in one place, a walkable ag tech community, it is the first of its kind in the world. So I want to thank this first group. Give them a round of applause again. Thank you, guys. As I said, the individual or set of individuals who really inspired this idea, they were really a handful who I said really took me under their wing and said, you know what, this Silicon Valley kid who grew up in San Francisco, who's got a crazy idea about how to make tech work better for ag, like let's hear him out and let's teach him and let's guide him. And really the first person to do that was the mayor. So Mayor Donohue, please come up here. I think he wasn't so sure about me at first, but then we realized that we're both kind of pretty diehard Giants fans, and that helped. And we both can go pretty deep. So go ahead, take it away, Don. Yeah, no Dodgers. Good.
Thank you, Danny, and good afternoon, everyone. Like many of you in this room, I've been around, as we like to say, the deal for a long time in terms of my business career, and certainly as an ag person and as the mayor of Salinas, I think we're all enormously proud of the salad bowl of the world designation, and we've had that for nearly 100 years. And today, this is a huge step forward to make sure 100 years from now, we're still the salad bowl of the world. And Danny's right. And I think it's fascinating to note, surveying the world, and he really did, that he came up with a different way to look at the ag tech business, because this Olympic Village concept of ag tech in Salinas really is the first of its kind, and that's a heck of an accomplishment. And you know, in his words, it's where entrepreneurs, growers, researchers, and global partners come together to test new technologies under real conditions. So this doesn't become a theory. This really is hands-on in the field where it matters. And for those folks in agriculture, specificity matters. That's how you move the needle. So I really, even though you're a Silicon Valley kid, he figured that out. And I think this is really going to be a powerful step forward for innovation. For Salinas as the mayor, this means jobs. We are seeing new high-skilled roles in fields like robotics, data analytics, and precision field operations. Our students at Hartnell and the other local institutions and high schools and young professionals now have pathways to careers that simply didn't exist a few years ago, and they pay better. And our growers are gaining access to tools that can help many of them stay competitive while doing what they do best, growing great products and stewarding our land and water. So it's a great 1-2 punch for the future. And it does mean a stronger economy. By becoming the proving ground for ag tech, Salinas really is attracting an investment from all over the world. We are a worldwide destination on the ag tech circuit, and we really are the fresh nerve center of the planet. So Danny's insights and bringing everyone together really does put us at the heart of being a global launch pad for innovation. And I don't know about you, but I kind of get excited about that, and I'm pretty sure everyone else does as well. So I really, and you know, John Deere's presence here today, applications coming from multiple countries, the national attention, I actually think there's somebody from the USDA here today. So that, you know, they're paying attention to this in all quarters of the country, whether it's Sacramento, Washington, the world's eyes are focused on Salinas, California. And I want to take particular note to John Deere's investment in this community. That is more significant than I think people can understand. We just compared notes, and I said, Salable of the world, 95 years. And he said, John Deere since the 1830s, got you beat. Like you do. But John Deere wants to make sure and believes we will remain the salad bowl of the world. So when they focus dollars and resources and presence for the future, that's a real signal and tribute to your vision. So we really do get excited about being the salad bowl of the world, what we do here, and Danny's right. When he first came to me, and as you know, if you're from here, occasionally we'll look at folks and go, "You're not from around here," but you know what? Now you are. So congratulations and thank you.
This is an opportunity to talk about some of our partnerships, sort of building off what the mayor said. We've taken a very partnerships-driven approach here. That's my background. And we have a saying inside the reservoir, which is, we feel like we can work with anyone. And if we're not working with them, it's probably usually their problem. So we really feel like we can work with anyone, and we've received a lot of support. I want to talk about some of our new partnerships today. We're excited to announce our initial collaboration with Driscoll's. We have representatives from Driscoll's here. They've been critical to shaping our vision, and we really appreciate their participation. Second, I want to call out Monterey County for the second time. This is a new thing, a hard thing, and we've received a ton of feedback from the supervisors, from staff, and we're learning and we're listening. We also really appreciate the fiscal support from Monterey County as well, so thank you. We have 3 industry partnerships that we're excited to talk about today. One is with Nutrien Ag Solutions. This is a global provider of critical materials and inputs for farms, and they're going to be our primary provider of those materials to our Salinas location. So thank you to the Nutrien team. I know I saw Gus. Where's Gus? There you are. So thank you so much to the Nutrien Ag Solutions team. We're excited to work with you guys. Netafim, I don't know if Tate's here yet. There he is. So Tate, we're really appreciative. Netafim is a global, really a world leader in irrigation, and what they've agreed to do is provide all the irrigation equipment that we need in Salinas to run this farm as an in-kind donation. This is incredible. So thank you guys as well. We really appreciate it. Let me just round of applause for all 4 of those partners. And then lastly, I want to thank our friends at Andros Engineering. Andros is a mechanical engineering firm. These guys are right here with the Andros hats on. They've become really close friends with the reservoir. Why? Because I am many things. A mechanical engineer is not one of them, right, Ben? And so Ben has really become our lifeline, the kind of the who wants to be a millionaire, phone a friend at this point. We do. And we really appreciate that. They are also going to be a part of the Reservoir Farms community, providing technical support. They've helped us design our shop. They're helping us select our equipment. They're donating some equipment. They're going to be able to work with startups on prototyping. They've just become part of our team, and vice versa. So we're so appreciative of them. So I want to say thank you to those guys. Really appreciate it. It's not enough time to go one by one here, but I want to call out a couple stories. There's a group of community partners on this list: Digital Nest, Mujeres en Acción, Rancho Cielo, our work with Hartnell College, which we'll talk about in more detail, our collaboration with MBEP, with Uplift Central Coast, with DART, with California Jobs First. We are deeply integrated, the Monterey Bay Tech Hub, MBEST, we are deeply integrated with this community. We spent hours and hours and hours and hours on these collaborations, and we're really proud to say that this is many firsts. It's the first startup incubator in California that we believe is really built from the ground up with community partnerships and authentic, deep community partnerships where we've learned and we've adapted and we've listened, and we have that group to thank. And we're going to hear more from Jackie Cruz a little bit later, Dr. Jackie Cruz, excuse me. We talked about John Deere. Western Growers has been instrumental. We spent hours and hours together. They've invited me into their conferences to present to Innovation Committee. Thank you guys so much. And then Tannemer and Ansel, Nature Ripe. So Nature Ripe, we have Hillary and Hank here. Where are you guys? There they are. So they are providing for us 5 acres of strawberry farming on these grounds. They're going to be planting in late October when it gets a little colder, right, Hillary? Do I have that right? And sort of. And okay, okay, yeah. So I learned a lot from Hillary. Still learning clearly, but for us to have 5 acres of strawberries available to startups to plug into is unbelievable. It is extraordinarily complex and expensive to grow strawberries, so that the fact that a startup can just land here and be on the ground testing ag tech on strawberries is unbelievable. So thank you guys so much. Last but certainly not least, I want to thank Tannemer and Ansel, but we have a video. Last year in October, we had a plan, but we didn't have land. And I met Brian Ansel, who's here from Tannemer and Ansel, and I met him at a conference, and he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "We're trying to build a startup incubator on a farm." He said, "Where?" I said, "Good question," basically. And he invited me to come in to meet them in the office. And I met the Tannemura family, and we have Gary here. And do we have Keith? Or Keith? There's Keith. Good to see you. And we simply would not be here without the Tannemura family. None of this would be possible. The fact that they had a leap of faith and were open to us coming here, to leasing this land, to building something different and new. They've been supportive, they've been engaged. Everybody at TNA, Scott, Rossi, Brian Ansel, Carrie, who's in Brazil right now, Keith and Gary, everybody. So I want to say thank you, and let's please give them a round of applause. The Tannemura family is a special Salinas family, and you know, it's what I love is how engaged they are. And you know, Keith called me about a month ago to talk about the well, out of the blue, and that just shows how much they care about the land. And so we really do feel like we're stewards of this land. We're of course leasing it, and we take that responsibility very seriously. Someone else I've had an opportunity to learn from is Norm Groot, who's the executive director of the Monterey County Farm Bureau. And Norm's going to come up and say a few words about some of the conversations we've had about the connections between the grower opportunity and the reservoir. So Norm, come on up.
Thanks, Danny. It's great to be here with everyone this afternoon at this fine event. And I have to say that this is a culmination of a lot of conversations, a lot of work, and a lot of suggestions from me that you took. I appreciate very much. But the point being is that this is a great celebration of something that's really positive happening in our community here. So it's great to see that we're finally at this point. As Danny said, I'm Norm Groot. I'm the Executive Director of Monterey County Farm Bureau, and our mission here is to support our ag producers, ensuring that they have the tools, resources, and most importantly, the advocacy to thrive in our community here. Reservoir strengthens our mission by focusing on practical solutions that come to the challenges and the changing economic climate that we're currently working through. With our current labor costs, regulatory requirements for environmental protections, the irrigation and nutrient use scrutiny that is currently happening, Reservoir Farms places these challenges in front of every startup that initiates into this program. Reservoir Farms presents startups with a unique opportunity to develop solutions alongside the grower community here, those who know what happens on the farm and the challenges that that entails. For our local growers, this provides earlier access to promised technologies, tested and proven under local conditions before they are really scaled up, opportunities to shape product design so it actually works when it's deployed into our fields, a quicker pathway from concept to pilot to adoption, reducing time for costs for growers when integrating new technologies into their operations, and finally, confidence that solutions are developed with grower feedback from the very start. California farming economy is operating on razor-thin edges. All the growers here know I don't need to say that. But under greater pressures from environmental resource management, farm efficiency, and regulatory compliance costs, we have a great opportunity here. I view Reservoir Farms as a pivotal element to keep our farmers competitive by accelerating these new technologies that will improve operational efficiencies, leading to future farm production security. Being based here in Salinas means that our growers are going to be the first to benefit from the operations here. Farm Bureau really thanks Danny for his vision and for his ability to make this happen and his ability to collaborate with so many different organizations, companies, and community members here. It's been a dream of many of our farmers to have something like this in our backyard here, a tech accelerator that works in the fields. Indeed, Reservoir Farms will be the grower accelerator that will provide our farmers with a direct role in shaping the innovation and new technologies that will define and shape the future success of our agricultural sector. We wish to all see our farms thriving with sustainable, fresh food production that keeps our competitive advantage in a changing world economy. Reservoir Farms is a big step forward into the Salinas Valley future, and it's an honor to have, from the very beginning, I think, support this simply by listening to the concept that Danny provided almost a year ago, I think. But it was an easy sell for us. It's such a great way to really further our community and put us on the map, so to speak. So, Danny, thank you very much.
Sure, appreciate it.
All right, so we're kind of in the last lap here, but we have a little bit more content to cover. So something we're also excited to roll out today on our website is a new partnership platform. So part of the feedback we've received from the community is basically saying, listen, here's how the ways we want to work with you. Here are the programs we want to collaborate with you on. We'd like to be able to host an event here. We'd like to be able to do some projects with you, some deep tech projects. We want to do some workforce programming with you, the kinds of things we're doing with Hartnell. So on our website today, we're launching kind of a new first entry at a partnership platform. We heard from a lot of our partners today, and we thank you. One of those new kind of pilot partnerships is our plans for the winter. And so I want to recognize that we have Tanya Hodges here from the YCETA team. So Tanya, thank you so much for being here. Beginning this winter, we are going to be able to bring startups down to the desert. Starting in mid-November, we're working with the University of Arizona, the Yuma Center for Desert Agricultural Excellence, as well as the Experiment Station in Yuma on 8th Street, where startups that are part of the reservoir can just seamlessly get down south. And so this is something we're super excited about. It is the kind of preview of our second location. We have a lot more to come here. We have our friends here from the Central Valley. We'll be talking a lot more about our work in the Central Valley soon, and then also our work in wine country. Something that we've really focused on from the very beginning is how we work with academia.
And the model a lot of the times with startup incubators is when they think academia, they think PhDs, they think postdocs, they think about deep tech. But something that we recognize as being a critical part of the rural ecosystem, of really the totality of the ecosystem, is how we work holistically. Nobody has been more instrumental in shaping the vision of how we partner, generally speaking, than Jackie. Jackie is a pillar of the Salinas community. She was an entrepreneur in residence with the Reservoir. She's been an advisor almost since the very beginning, and I've learned a ton from Jackie and the entire team at Hartnell. So I want to welcome Jackie Cruz to come up and say a few words.
So first thing you have to know is I'm a crier. I cry every time I speak, so I'm going to try. This is not a crying room, so I'm going to try not to do that. But I want to say, first of all, I'm the daughter of 2 retired farm workers and the granddaughter of a bracero. It means so much to me, not only as a person, but as a mother. What this means to the future of the Salinas Valley, our greater Monterey County, and rural California. It's a powerful thing that we're all part of, and I'm so honored, humbled, and blessed to be a little part of this, Danny. Thank you so much for your friendship and for your trust. I've been with Hartnell College for 16 years, but I'm also a proud Hartnell alum. Our mission is to advance social and economic justice through the transformative power of education. For generations, agriculture has been a cornerstone of opportunity in Monterey County. And thanks to the leadership of David Gill, Gary Tanamura, Norm Groot, I saw Bart Walker out here, many of our Ag Steering Committee members, and I'm sorry I didn't say all of you, it's 21 of you, so it's hard to name you all. But thanks to our Ag Steering Committee, we have built strong and enduring relationships with our industry and cross-sector collaborations that have supported philanthropic investments. Just to give you an example of that, in the last 15 years, Hartnell College has invested almost $100 million in supporting science, technology, engineering, and math, the Center for Advanced Technology, and our technical training building. And we built our mechatronics program, which it was the very first associate's degree in mechatronics in the state. And I want to give a shout out to Brian Antle, who sat down with our curriculum people and our faculty to build the mechatronics degree. So thank you, Brian. I wasn't at that seat, but where are you? Thank you so much. Today, as AgTech continues to transform the industry, we remain committed to our 14,000 students that come through our hallways every year. We believe in their talent. We believe in forging strategic alliances that create these type of pathways. And we believe in our ability to support our mechatronics associate's degree programs designed to equip students with the skills needed to operate, maintain, and innovate in automation and smart agriculture technologies. Together, we're ensuring that our students and our communities are prepared to thrive in this new era of agriculture. So I want to give you just a few bullets on some of the work that we're going to be doing with Reservoir. Our students will be gaining direct exposure to robotics, sensors, and precision ag systems being tested right here at the farm. Training programs that are aligned with the needs of our growers, technology companies, so that our graduates are ready to contribute to your companies on day one. These pathways open up these careers in data analytics, engineering support, advanced field operations, creating opportunities that keep talent here in the Valley and in Monterey County. We don't want to lose our youth and our talented folks to other areas. What makes this different? What makes this partnership different from our perspective is that from the very beginning, Reservoir Farms has engaged us as a community college, which a lot of times we do get kind of like this, we're the stepchild of higher education, but we're actually the largest system in the whole country. So very smart from Danny to support and work with us. But since the beginning, we work with community-based organizations, with Mujeres en Acción, with Digital Nest, with Rancho Cielo, and with more. These are people in the community, from the community, that are going to help us connect to the most vulnerable populations that need these opportunities for these quality jobs, and we're so excited about that. Families benefit when young people can stay local, build careers, and strengthen the very communities they come from. And growers will benefit from a workforce that is skilled, adaptable, and prepared to implement new technologies from day one. On behalf of all of us at Hartnell College, I want to thank the Reservoir for making workforce development central to its mission, and together we're ensuring that California ag remains competitive and that the opportunities created by innovation flow directly to the people and communities that make our region strong. And before I end, I would like anybody from Hartnell College that's here to please stand up. I want to thank you for your support. I know we have, thank you so much. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Danny. Congratulations.
Our partnerships with academia are going to continue to be a really strategic part of what we're doing. Earlier this week, we announced a collaboration with the University of California. We have Gabe Yahtzee here from the University of California. Thanks, Gabe, for being here. Reservoir will make an equity investment in the grand prize winner of a competition called the Farm Robotics Challenge. So this is actually from our fund. This is a competition, a global competition of deep tech, student teams, postdocs, community colleges, etc. The grand prize winner will invest in them. So this is kind of a connection between the work we're doing in an academic context and then trying to bring those individuals to the farm. But what's next? So we obviously have been very focused for the last year on this opportunity, on getting Reservoir Farms open. But agriculture faces significant challenges, and ag tech is not immune from those challenges. This is a stat, a chart actually put out by a company called EquityZen, which looked at the concept of liquidity. And liquidity in technology, in this case, refers to how liquid are the shares, the invested shares in companies. And what you can see is that agricultural technology is the least liquid sector in all of tech. Meaning if you are an investor or you're an employee in an ag tech company, you are holding your shares for a very, very, very long time. We began to study this problem and realized that this was another area that we needed to apply energy to. That similarly how the incubator model really needed a new set of energy, a new set of thinking, we also felt like capital markets and needed a fresh set of thinking. We began to use analogies like there isn't a secondary market, a private market for ag tech. And we even took it a step further and said there isn't a Wall Street of ag tech. So something that we're working on and we're excited to preview today is a new product initiative from the Reservoir, which we call Reservoir Street. Reservoir Street is an online buy and sell platform and exchange for privately held ag tech companies. The way it will work is that companies can shares to be bought and sold. Employees ultimately will be able to do the same. So you'll be able to get into new positions and exit existing positions. We'll have an assortment of different types of ag tech companies. We'll require them to publish a certain amount of data to be listed. And so the goal is actually to create the most robust assortment, both on the buy side and the sell side, in all of tech. And we call it Reservoir Street. This is an example from Fieldwork Robotics, which is a automated raspberry picker based out of the UK, where they are basically going to be providing product data, customer testimonials, a look into their books, all the things that you would need as an investor to make a decision about whether to buy or sell. And we'll be rolling this out and talking more about this in the coming weeks. For us, things like Reservoir Street, Reservoir Farms, and these other initiatives really connect back to our why. And our why is basically connected to an urgency that if the tech doesn't succeed, then farming will not succeed. We have lined up corporate partners like John Deere, like Netafim, like Nutrient Ag Solutions and others, and that's critical. We have academic support, we have incredible academic partnerships, and that's significant. But the startups need to deliver. And the startups cannot deliver under these circumstances, and that's why the Reservoir exists. I want to thank everyone for being here. But before we get up, I want to thank the Reservoirians. So can you all stand up and wave? Part-time, little bit time. Some people are being shy. So just wave. Thank you guys so much. The Reservoir team, we're unapologetically intense. We are people who love to work. We work hard, and we take a lot of pride in what we do. And I am deeply appreciative for the commitment level from this group over the last year plus. We wouldn't be here without you, so thank you. And thank you all for being here. That's a wrap. We are now heading down the street. Western Growers has generously offered to host us. The party continues on Main Street at the Western Growers Center for Innovation and Technology in the Taylor Building. Grab your car, go down the street, park. Any other instructions? Is that pretty good? Take some coffee with you. We're going to have food. We'll have wine and beer and non-alcoholic options. So thank you all so much. We'll see you soon.